morning to everyone. It is Thursday, the 14th of March. Welcome to THG News Today with Mervyn Henley. We have a packed news program this morning, but not before I remind you to please subscribe to our channel. Or else I promise you, if you don't subscribe, you'll have a very, very grumpy day today. So you must subscribe, right? Thank you so much. Just take a second and do that for us, please. And also, just before we get to the news in our spotlight today, and remember we feature businesses small and large in our spotlight, just $150, and you can get your business out there, your products, your services. And today we are featuring the Santal plant-based milk, from where you can have it in soy, almond, oat, and coconut. And you can get those at the Best Buy stores, the Best Buy supermarket in the various islands in Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, Duggins Enterprises in Center Statius, and Cospro, St. Martin, and also Cospro in Antigua, right? So while you're out today, whatever you're doing, if you're not working, you're just at home, or you want to begin your healthy journey, then you have to pick up this plant-based milk there at Best Buy and Cospro. Also, just a reminder that for those of you, it's not too late if you're in St. Kitts and Nevis to head on over to Montserrat this weekend, or this week, or the rest of the month, or on Easter weekend for the non-stop entertainment in celebration of St. Patrick's Day celebration, and you name it. It's like a carnival celebration is taking place in Montserrat. And for the ferry schedule and to purchase your tickets, please contact 669-4668. That's 669-4668 or 763-9375. That's 763-9375. Carl & Sons Unique Bakery on St. Martin and Feeses on Nevis. Thank you for sponsoring today's news. Now let's get right to it. A United Nations agency has issued a warning that Haiti is on the verge of a major hunger crisis, even as Prime Minister Ariel Henry resigned on Monday. According to the UN World Food Programme, WFP, aid operations are at risk of grinding to a halt amid rampant violence as Prime Minister Henry resigned on Monday. A UN release said armed gangs have tightened their grip on the capital, Port-au-Prince, controlling the main roads. According to the release, gang violence has displaced more than 362,000 Haitians, over half of them children, while at least 35,000 people have fled from their homes since the beginning of 2024, trying to escape the escalating prices. The lack of goods and resources is worsening and already a precarious economic situation, with water and essential services being stretched to the limit, according to a UN spokesperson. For her part, Cindy McCain, WFP's executive director, said that spreading violence keeps aid workers from reaching communities in need at a time when donor funds are drying up. McCain disclosed that $674 million in humanitarian response planned for Haiti is just 2% funded. Our humanitarian operation in Haiti is running on fumes, with funding for hot meals about to run out in 2 weeks, Ms. McCain warned. We need donors to step up today so we can tackle the rising tide of hunger and halt the slide into chaos, she stated. Country director in Haiti warned of an impending famine. He observed that hunger levels in Haiti typically occur in war zones. He emphasized that 1.4 million people in Haiti were a step away from famine. 1.4 million people in Haiti were a step away from famine. I had to read that again because it is a very terrible, devastating situation. And yes, the United States government, they have committed $100 million to this cause. And that includes for security forces from Kenya. However, Kenyan government now they're saying, we're not moving. We're not moving until we see an interim government in place per se. And not only that, I am always curious with why we're not seeing boots on the ground from the United States. I mean, it's not like they cannot manage or deal with the situation. You managed the war in Iraq. You went into Ukraine. You're all over the place. And Haiti right there, I mean, next to most of our CARICOM islands, and you can't put boots on the ground and get the situation under control. I can never understand that. Never understand that. But we move on. We have an update for you from a statement from the Prime Minister, really. This will be short, of Grenada. He was speaking at a press conference regarding the Virginia woman. She was raped and killed. Her husband was killed by 3 escapees from the Grenada prison. And we would have reported on that extensively over the last couple of weeks. But on Tuesday, the Grenada Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell, said he would not accept responsibility for the human error in the police force that allowed 3 men to escape a police station that killed the couple. He said prisoners are held by police. Mitchell stated the police are responsible if a prisoner or inmate escape, and we've shown that they will be held accountable. So in that regard, 4 officers have been charged. Yeah, so the Prime Minister of Grenada, he's taking absolutely no responsibility. And if you'd like, you can leave your thoughts or comments about the Prime Minister's position in the comment section here on our YouTube channel. He's not taking any, and he's not making any apologies for that. Okay, let's move on. News out of Nevis from a press release from the Government Information Service that Premier Brantley anticipates a fair share that will be nearing a resolution soon. According to Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley, he anticipates the issue of equitable sharing of the revenue generated by the St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program between the Twin Islands will soon be resolved. On the issue of fair share, in my last conversation with Dr. Drew, we discussed this, and I do not want to speak out of turn. The Premier doesn't want to speak out of turn because I anticipate that he will want to say something on this in short order. I'm told that matters were nearing completion. I will give him the courtesy to be the one to announce what that analysis shows, and so we expect that will be available quite shortly. Since Dr. Drew's ascension to Prime Minister in August 2022, both leaders have led talks on the long-debated issue with a view to brokering a sustainable revenue-sharing arrangement between the federal government and the Nevis Island administration. This according to this press release. Honourable Brantley has maintained that just as St. Kitts has done over the program's history, Nevis and Nevisians should also benefit from the proceeds of the federal resource. He has maintained that the CBI proceeds should be fairly apportioned as a pro rata basis. Prime Minister Drew had stated that a committee would establish and help would be sought from external agencies to analyze a revenue sharing arrangement between St. Kitts and Nevis, taking into account the Federation's constitutional construct. But this is the same thing that former Prime Minister Timothy Harris was in the process of doing, or he started the process of this. But that wasn't enough for the Premier Brantley at that time. And that is why mainly the deconstruction or the collapse of the unity government, because even though the former Prime Minister Harris, he would have gone to the World Bank, he would have involved external agencies, just what Prime Minister Drew is doing, that wasn't enough for Premier Brantley, and the rest was history. So that's interesting that the same thing now, but he's waiting and he's not going to speak out of turn, and he's waiting for Prime Minister Drew with that resolution. While addressing the subject of fair share, Premier Brantley dispelled aspirations made by the opposition on Nevis that the Nevis Island administration had received an extra $5 million from the CBI proceeds in addition to the established monthly allotment. This is not accurate at all, according to Premier Brantley. There are no additional funds. He went on to say that a portion of funding that the federal government received from the Taiwanese government, $5 million, was handed over to Nevis. The Premier explained that some of those funds would have been utilized for phase 2 of the ongoing Penny's Beach project, which is nearing completion. He further revealed that some of those funds will this year go to upgrading facilities that will be used to host Culturama events and to assist with the NIA's water drilling project. Okay, I'm not hearing anything about education, the schools, some of them. Whoa. I'm not hearing anything about the completion of the hospital, but we'll use those funds for Culturama 50 and to dig more wells so people can have water when they come in for Culturama 50. But we did not stop there. THG News Today reached out to the leader of the Nevis Reformation Party, opposition member in the Nevis Island Assembly, who actually I believe should be the leader of the opposition, but that's a matter for another day. But let's hear from the Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge in response to the Premier. Let's give a listen.
It is interesting that the Premier said that he has been told that matters regarding the fair share discussions are nearing completion. The question is, told by whom? Is he engaged in the dialogue or just waiting for the Prime Minister to inform him? The Premier is actually supposed to be representing the people of Nevis, and we want to know from him what his representation to the external agencies has been. While our fair share of the CBI proceeds has been the focus of much debate, we also need to ensure that other revenues, such as those generated from the ship registry, grants from international organizations and friendly governments, we want to ensure that all of those sources of revenues are also being addressed. Now, regarding the $5 million and whether there is confusion about it or not, we in the opposition were not confused when we stated that the Premier received an additional $5 million from the federal government. We never mentioned CBI in that regard. The question, though, is why didn't the Premier announce the $5 million in his press conference? The lack of accountability by this CCM-led administration is alarming, and they seem to have no intention to give account to the people of Nevis about how the government's funds are being used. Now, the larger problem, I think, is that while Nevis has been arguing for its fair share, and while we have been receiving additional funds, the people of Nevis are still struggling. The Premier must understand that when he asks for fair share, he must be prepared to share the resources fairly. So we ask for fair share, then share the resources fairly. Fair share, share fair.
Thank you for that, Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. With that was Nevis, we move on down to St. Kitts. In St. Kitts last week, we received images of a rubber dinghy that was found ashore at a Bay and Keys village. There were no occupants on board, but of course, some in the community started to speculate, and the story took on a life of its own. Folks are already on edge with all this free movement conversation, so this rubber dinghy on a bay in the community did not help. But we received from the police a statement that confirmed there was no human presence on board at the time of the find, but a few personal items proved that the vessel was initially occupied. However, the police advised residents to contact the nearest police station if they see any strange or suspicious persons in their communities. I will not join with speculation, and I know this may sound like former President Trump. I know the authorities, they do their best in keeping the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis safe. But please, please do not take your eyes off the borders. Protect our borders, and whatever resources and tools you need to improve the security of the borders, I hope the government of St. Kitts and Nevis will make readily available to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today is World Kidney Day, and the Ministry of Health on St. Lucia has urged early and consistent healthy lifestyle choices to reduce the risk of developing kidney failure. In a message on the ministry's behalf, consultant internist Dr. Gloria Gerard disclosed that to date over 850 million people worldwide suffer from some form of kidney disease. In the case of St. Lucia, she revealed that as of February 2024, 187 people were living with end-stage renal failure and were on dialysis. Kidney dialysis removes excess water, solutes, and toxins from the blood in people whose kidneys can no longer perform these functions naturally. Dr. Gerard said the health systems must make every effort to meet the healthcare needs of people living with and affected by kidney failure. She went on to mention the location there in the Miku Wellness Center of Excellence, where folks will get their treatment there on St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our news for today. Do join us again tomorrow morning for a similar presentation right here at 6 o'clock. I am Mervyn Hanley, and remember, our news this morning is brought to you with the kind compliments of Carl & Sons on St. Martin and Feathers on Nevis. Have a blessed day.
Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feathers, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and doll parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feezes, located at the entrance to the Cotton Ginnery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They are also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.
Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years, and the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Sons for simply the best. There are 2 locations, Colbay and on the Punfill. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfill, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you.